What is going on, guys? Today we're going to learn about the this pointer. So what is a this pointer? The this pointer stores the current object's address. In easy words, I'm going to be honest with you. You can consider this pointer as your object. Basically, it gives the access to the current object's address that we are using. It may sound confusing, but trust me, it's not. So what I've done over here is I've created my Archer class, Archer.h, Archer.cpp. Both my Archer.cpp and main.cpp have the include IO stream and using namespace std. So, and the Archer.h header is included. I've copied this from here and pasted over here and over here under the IO stream. So now just let's begin our program. So now that we are in Archer.h, we now have a variable in Cobra. You can name whatever you want, but I have named mine Cobra. And what I've done over here, let me delete this. By default, this constructor is empty, so we're gonna have to pass it in x. So later on, when we pass it in the member initializer list, so Cobra will be having the parameter x. So we're now gonna wanna have to prototype a function. Basically, what we're doing in this tutorial is I'm gonna print out Cobra in three ways. One is the regular way that we used to do in our previous videos, and the other way is gonna be by using the this pointer. So I'm gonna name my function print something with empty parameters and a semicolon at the end. So we're good to go for our archer.h file. Now let's hop over to our archer.cpp file. So we have to have that parameter int x over here. From here we have int x, and I'm gonna copy this. Actually, I'm gonna copy this, exclude that semicolon. So Control C, Control V, there we go. And I'm gonna add a body to it. Later on, I'm gonna build this function in a moment. But before that, I wanna initialize my variable using member initializer syntax. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type colon, I'm gonna type Cobra, and Cobra's parameter would be x. So later on, when we pass an argument in our Archer constructor in the main, it's gonna pass it in the Cobra variable that is private over here. So now it's time to build our function. So what I'm gonna do, the first way I'm gonna type is cout, and I'm gonna type Cobra equals and Cobra and end that line. And in the next line, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type cout insertion operators, inverted commas open this, and where's my arrow? Right here. And I'm gonna write Cobra and equals insertion operator, copy this and that line. So I'm gonna know, actually I know you're gonna be anxious that what is this right over here. So sit back and relax. Once I complete the coding, I'm gonna tell you what it is. So in the next line, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type another way of doing this line over here. So I'm gonna type cout, and another way of using this pointer to print out Cobra variable is you open your round brackets, and inside your round brackets you pass it in the, basically you use this dereferencing operator and this, and what you do is you type your dot operator and whatever thing you want to access. So I'm gonna access Cobra, and remember this pointer stores the current object's address. So whatever we're gonna do after we build our constructor and we build our first object, what it's gonna do is it's gonna act as the object itself, because this pointer holds the address of the object's this pointer holds or stores the current object's address. So pretty much it can control the object. It has the authority to change the contents of that object, because it has directly accessed that memory location that is deep down in our computer, the long hexadecimal thing. So let's hop back to our archer.cpp, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type equal sign, I'm gonna copy this, Control C, insertion operators, control V, insertion operators, and that line. So now is the time to go in our main.cpp. Make sure you have that archer.h file included so that we can access the contents of archer class. So this include right here is very important. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type my class name and I'm gonna type an object. Basically I'm gonna create an object. So archer AO object. In short, I have in my mind that AO is archer object. You can create whatever object you want. So in the parameters, it's gonna have the argument 77. So by default, I think Cobra's Cobra's value is 0, so we have changed that value to 77. And in the next step, I'm going to use that object AO object to print that function, print something function. And I'm going to add a semicolon at the end. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see out, and this is basically the proof that the this pointer and your object, basically your this pointer and is holding the current object's address in its nearest scope, or it's in its nearest reach, you can say. So I'm gonna type address of operator and I'm gonna type the AO archer object and I'm gonna end that line, and I'll go back to my archer.cpp file, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see out this and I'm gonna end that line. So what are we doing in the second line? In the first line we're just printing the Cobra variable, and I actually checked for errors. What I missed is the archer and colon, and that's pretty dumb. So now I have included my archer and the double colon. Scope resolution operator. So let's get back to business. So the business was to print out the Cobra variable in 3 ways. In the first way, we have just printed out Cobra, and remember in the argument we passed the value 77, and by default I guess the value is 0, so you can also initialize it to 0 if you don't trust your compiler that the initial value is 0. And I'm gonna build and run and see. Let me lock this window, so control space, because I am using AutoHotkey software. So what is happening over here? Remember, what we did was we created an object and we passed 77 as the argument, and we used that object to print something function from the Azure class. And what I did was I basically printed out the object's address. So the object's address is 0x29FEFC. But see that this pointer stores the current object's address. So what is happening in the 13th line is the address is exactly same. So that proves that this pointer holds the current object's address that we are working with. So nobody can argue from you that the current object's address and this pointer are totally different things. Because you see this object this memory address right here, which was from line 13, and this right here is the same. So what is happening in the line 1 is it's printed out Cobra equals 77. In the next line what it did was I typed this and I used this arrow operator. And remember, it pretty much is acting like your object, because you type remember in our previous videos or in this video, remember that we typed AO and access this function. So what it did was since AO is virtually same as this thing right here, so you can say that AO dot Cobra, that is how it accessed Cobra variable right here in this line and this line. And this right here is pretty much the same as this one right here, as long as I'm missing something. So what is this right here is called the dereferencing operator. And when you use this, you type this keyword with your round brackets and you type your dot operator, and then whatever thing you want to access, you type that thing name. So that is what your this pointer is. Now I don't want to go into deep under to this pointer, because at this point you're a beginner and you want to know the basic stuff, because when we were covering the advanced C++, definitely things will become easier much easier. Here's what be happening to you right now. You're watching these beginner series and you may having a hard time understanding, but when you understand the beginner series, the understanding of advanced C++ is gonna be almost 50% easier because you have laid the foundation. And once you have completed your whole C++ language and you want to learn Java or Python or C Sharp, pretty much all these concepts remains the same except for some features with just little syntax changing. That's it. If you like print out cout cobra equals this, like you do in Java, which is system out print line, blah blah blah, like that, just with little change of syntax. So what my point is, if you learn C++, learning other languages would be much easier and it would take very less time than you expect to understand that new language you're gonna learn in future. So that's it for now guys for this pointer. Remember, this pointer holds the current object's address. This pointer stores the current object's address. Just remember this line and you're good to go for now. Basically what this pointer is doing is, since it holds the current object's address, so it can do whatever that object can do. So that was this pointer is about. That's it for now guys. I know it's gonna be a little confusing in this video, but when we are gonna use in our future videos, it will definitely become easier and the concept of this pointer will definitely and finally melt down like cheese. Maybe it's a solid rock for you now, but with time it's gonna convert it into cheese and finally it's gonna melt if you keep on using this in your programming career. And pretty much this pointer is a powerful feature of C++. Java doesn't have that, and that is a plus point for C++. And there are actually cool lot of features for this pointer that we'll definitely cover in our future videos. So again, that's it for now guys. Study this tutorial, don't lose motivation, and I'll see you guys in the next one.